Hey everybody, this is Daniel Vitalis, and today's video is on self-dentistry. It's part of my overall health sovereignty strategy, and I'm going to share with you what I've been doing to take care of my teeth at home. It's been about 15 to, nearing 20 years since I've seen a dentist. And for me, I've had to really learn how to take care of my own teeth. That's part of my own personal quest for health sovereignty. I really don't believe we need to be reliant on these health institutions to take care of our own bodies. I think that's something we can do ourselves. So I'm going to share with you how I'm taking care of my teeth. Again, you're going to need to take your own responsibility for your own body, but hopefully some of these strategies work for you. And I want to give credit to some of the great teachers, especially Nadine Artemis, who really inspired me to start doing my own self-dentistry, as she calls it. This is my personal strategy. It is based slightly off of some of her work and many of the other great people who've inspired me along the way. So I'm going to share that with you, and if some of this works for you, hopefully you'll employ it in your own dental health strategy, your own dental sovereignty strategy at home. Okay, so this dental strategy has 6 parts to it. Now I want to be clear about something. I don't do all 6 parts in a row every time. In fact, on any given day I might just do 2 or 3 of them. But I string them together in a way strategically, which I'm going to show you, and then there are the times where I want to do a real serious dental cleaning on myself, and I will use all 6 parts together. So it's sort of like when you clean your house, you know, there's times where you just tidy up, and then there's the times when you do like spring cleaning. So this is really similar. So know that you can break this up, use sections of it as you see fit, or when you need to. Now I'm going to show you those 6 parts. Okay, so part 1. Part 1 for me is flossing, and it's getting debris out from between my teeth. So what you want to do is get yourself a naturally waxed piece of floss, or whatever it is you choose to use for this purpose. Now, the floss on its own would work great, though I like to put essential oils onto my floss. This is called Healthy Gums. You can find this at sirthrival.com, or use essential oils that you like, that you know are antimicrobial, and really help to eradicate some of the pathogens that do get to take up residence in our mouth, particularly when there's food debris stuck in our teeth. Now all I do is sort of stretch that out and put a drop of my floss on there. Sorry, a drop on my floss, and kind of spread that down. And from there, I start to work that in between my teeth. Now most of you have flossed your teeth plenty of times in your life, and you don't need me to explain how to do that. But I do want to say this one piece, which is be gentle when you're working the floss in around the gum line. I have seen people damage their gums and even lose teeth over time because of how aggressively they would work floss and picks in through their teeth. So just be careful with how aggressive you are. Make sure you're not plinking away too much when you're in between your teeth with your floss. Make sure you're working those oils in nice and gently. And know this, you don't have to floss every time you clean your teeth. So if I floss, go to bed, wake up the next morning, when I clean my mouth in the morning, I don't need to floss again because I haven't eaten anything. There's nothing stuck in my teeth. So I only use the floss when I actually have debris in my teeth to work out. Okay, part 2 of the strategy. This is a saline rinse, and this is something I learned from Nadine over at Living Libations, and I think this is a great strategy. And what I do is just take a bit of my spring water and add some sea salt in there and stir that in until I've created a really salty brine. In fact, I've even used ocean water for this purpose. Sometimes when I'm out at the beach, we harvest food there, bring seaweed back for our garden, and so I've harvested some ocean water for that purpose as well. Now this is real simple. We're just going to do a quick saline rinse. I'm going to work this water, this salt water, in and out through my teeth. Remember, salt's very antimicrobial as well, and I'm going to be working that in and out of the gums, sort of the way a water pick is used. We're going to use, similar to the floss almost, the water's going to gently work in and out, and it's going to move any debris that the floss didn't get out from between my teeth. Alright, part 3 of this dental strategy, and for this one I want to credit my really good friend Arthur Haynes, who convinced me to start doing this. This is something I'd heard about for years and years. I didn't even tried, but never really stuck for me. I never really got the purpose of it, and that's oil pulling. Oil pulling is where we simply take some oil and we swish it in and out of our teeth in the same way that we just did with the saline rinse. Now, the reason is, for me, the reason that I do it is because the stains that get on our teeth are actually lipid soluble. They're oil soluble. They'll actually come off in the oil. Now, the thing that happens for people is they brush and they brush and they brush, but those stains don't come off because they're not soluble in water. And so we end up going to the dentist and abrading our teeth to remove these stains. And I don't think that's necessary. As somebody who's done a lot of self-dental care over the years, I've noticed that stains tend to accumulate the more we get away from abrasives. So what I found was, particularly when I use things like tooth soaps or oils instead of toothpastes that are abrasive, I would start to get stains on my teeth and I wouldn't know how to get rid of those, and I would end up having to employ things like sonic toothbrushes. But now with the oil pulling, I can keep my teeth very white. As white as I'd like them to be. I'm not interested in that Hollywood pearly bleached white. But my teeth stay very white with the oil pulling, and in fact, I saw it working within 3 days of starting. So that's about 3 applications, and that's really impressive to me. Now, you can use a lot of different oils. Traditionally in Ayurvedic medicine, I believe sesame oil is the oil of choice. However, a lot of the people in the modern health food movement are using coconut oil, which is of course more of a solid until it gets in your mouth when it liquefies. You could use really any oil that will liquefy in the mouth. This is sesame oil here, which is one of my favorites, and all I'm going to do is pour that into my mouth, take about half of this liquid, about a big tablespoon, and I'm going to swish that back and forth, and you want to do that for about 5 to 10 minutes. Now, if you only have 2 minutes, then do it for 2 minutes. But if you've got the time, go 5 to 10 minutes, and as that oil moves back and forth, it's going to start pulling the stains off your teeth. And if you have an experience like I did, you'll notice within a few days a significant whitening, and that makes this a really valuable addition to your own dental sovereignty health plan. Word to the wise. Be careful not to be spitting this oil into your sink, particularly if you're using something like coconut oil, which is going to solidify when it cools down and eventually clog up the works of your sink or your plumbing. So make sure you're spitting that either outside or into your compost, but keep it out of, if you can, keep it out of your toilet, keep it out of your sink, because it's gonna get real oily, it's gonna get real grimy, and it could even clog up the works. Okay, the next part of this, the 4th section, and this is one of the ones that if I have a limited time, I jump right to this piece, and that's of course toothbrushing. You're all familiar with that. This is a natural boar hair bristled brush, and it's a wooden brush, and if you're interested in something like that, we are going to have these soon at sirthrival.com. In the last video that I made, I showed you how to make your own toothpaste out of zeolite. I'll make sure to link that in the information below. So if you want to see that video, just click down below and you'll find it. And this is the zeolite toothpaste that I've made myself. Very inexpensive to make a lifetime supply of this. Simply going to apply that. Now here's the thing. Because this stuff is so abrasive, it is made out of granulated, very fine mesh zeolite. We don't want to get in there and just beat on our teeth. We want to be gentle with this, especially on our gums and the gum line. So I'm going to brush very gently. And one of the things that I think is really important, and I didn't know until, I remember the last time I visited a dentist, and the dentist explained this to me, and I had gone my whole childhood not knowing this, and that is that teeth have a grain just like wood. And your teeth's grain orients vertically. And you see people brushing side to side all the time. Imagine if we had a board where the grain was oriented vertically and we started running sandpaper side to side. Well, we're going to eat into the grain of that. If we wanted to sand that board correctly, we'd go vertically with the grain. You want to do the same thing with your toothbrush, and that's going to protect your teeth over time. Now, if you saw the video where we made the toothpaste, the reason for using zeolites and the difference between zeolite toothpaste and regular toothpaste is that you want to swallow that after. And that allows those zeolites to get into the intestinal tract where they do cation exchange with lots of toxic particles within our body, attracting them to themselves so we can pass them out. So you'll notice with that, I swallow it rather than spit it out. Okay, part 5, and this is one of my favorite parts, something I've been doing for many, many years, and I'm amazed that so many people do not do this or don't know about this, and that is tongue cleaning or tongue scraping. Now I've got two versions of the tongue scraper here to show you. One is stainless steel, and essentially it's sort of like a blade that's been folded over. The other one's made of copper. Now I really prefer the copper one, and that's because copper has inherently antimicrobial properties that steel doesn't have. So I'm going to use the copper one. Now, I'm not going to show you this because what comes off the human tongue when you draw this down your tongue is sort of foul. In fact, it's amazing to me that people will kiss each other without first scraping their tongue. I mean, it's just amazing what comes off, particularly in the morning. For those of you who use a tongue scraper, you know what I'm talking about, because I think about 85–87% of the bacteria in our mouth reside on our tongue. So when we reach to the back with this blade and draw that down our tongue, a big white film will form there, and that's what we're trying to get off of our tongue. There's sayings in yoga about, in the ancient sort of Ayurvedic method, that says if you want to keep your teeth long term, clean your tongue. So it's not just about cleaning your teeth, it's about cleaning your tongue. This is really good to freshen your breath. I always travel with one, always. And in fact, if I've been stuck without one, I'll find a way to manufacture one. And I've used lots of different things over the years. But essentially we're going to reach that to the root of the tongue, draw that down in a scraping motion, and then shake the rest of that off or rinse that off. Okay, I just did it for real. I didn't want to show that to you. But I'll show you now that my tongue is nice and clean what I'm talking about. So you sort of open your mouth, stick your tongue out, reach this to the back, scrape that down, and it's gonna blow. If you've never done this, you're gonna be amazed at how effective it is. The toothbrushing piece, step number 4, and the tongue scraping piece, step number 5, are the two most crucial ones, the ones I use the most, and all these other adjuncts are things that I put in when I have the time or when I have the need. Okay, step number 6 is the same as step number 2, and that's that saline water, and I'm just going to use that for a final rinse. And that's the end of the whole strategy. Now for me, you can imagine how good your mouth feels after you've done all those steps. Again, I want to reiterate, maybe you only need to do the oil pulling once or twice a week, 3 times a week. Maybe you only need to floss after eating certain foods. It's up to you. You pick how you want to organize these things together. The order that I've put these 6 steps in works really great for me, but you may choose to add other things in, or you may choose to do them in a different order, and that's up to you. But for your own self-dental care, for your own health sovereignty system, these things are fantastic. They've really helped me feel confident about taking care of my mouth so that I'm not reliant on the American Dental Association or any other healthcare practitioner. I don't need to visit anybody to have my teeth cleaned or anything like that, because I can do it myself at home with confidence and know that I'll be able to keep my teeth for the rest of my life. Hey, as always, thank you for watching this video. We'd love to see your comments down below. It really helps us know what kind of videos you want to see in the future and what you liked about this video or maybe didn't like. The other thing I want to say is please check out my website, danielvitalis.com. That's my blog. Surthrival.com, which is where I've put all of my the health products that I've formulated, and findaspring.com, which is a database for wild water all around the world to help you find spring water for free where you live or where you travel. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.